Hello and welcome to Community Service Spotlight. I'm your host, Bud Qualk, and today we've got three lovely ladies who are going to tell us all about Necco, Paducah. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Rhonda Riley, and what is your title or your CEO or CFO or?
No, I'm not either of those things, but I am the program director of Necco of Paducah.
Program director.
Yes.
Is that the top dog in Paducah or no?
Yeah,
Oh.
I guess it
okay.
is.
Okay.
In our Paducah office, there's a program director, which is what I am. And there's also a treatment director, and she'll be coming up later in the show.
Okay.
And then we have a home resource coordinator. That's a person that goes out and trains our foster parents and recruits foster parents. She's also coming up later in the show, named Farrah Stewart. And then we have other staff as well. And we could fill your show with all of our staff, but we don't have the time. We don't have the time.
we have a quick video we want to show first before we get started.
Yes, I'd love for you to.
Let's go to video.
Foster a child? Aren't those kids delinquents?
There are enough people who foster kids already. They don't need my help. In this economy, funds are tight, and I can barely afford to take care of myself.
I just don't think I can take care of a kid that's not mine.
What happens when they leave? I might get attached.
I just don't have the money.
There are a million reasons not to foster a child.
What's your reason?
Okay, we're back with Rhonda Riley, the director of Necco. And what is Necco? That's kind of an unusual word. It really means something? The word means something?
Well, most people ask me, what does Necco stand for?
Yeah.
And it's not an acronym. I've always thought that I would try to come up with some clever abbreviations, but it's not. It's the last name of the family that started the program.
I thought it was an acronym.
I know.
Sure it was.
Dr. Ed Necco and his wife Dorothy Necco started Necco.
I'll be darned. Well, I went on the website before the show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Good.
and I thought, they'll tell me what the letters stand for, and they didn't. And I thought, well, what? That's can't wait to ask you what it meant. Okay.
I get that question all the time.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. The husband and wife decided to start this program. Is that when the 1800s, or is it about when? Or
well, the Necco family started the Necco program out of South Point, Ohio, and started it because they had worked with children that were at risk of being removed from their home, or children with behavioral issues. Mm-hmm. And so they created the foster care organization that is part of what Necco Paducah does today. We have a foster care, therapeutic foster care program within the Necco Paducah office, but there are also some other programs that we do.
Okay.
Do you want to hear about them?
Yes, that's that's the next question. What are the services you provide? And it sounds like it's children with a situation, and foster parents for those children. Well, tell us what the services are.
Okay. With Necco, our mission, our goal with whatever program that we do is to build families. And families look like a lot of different things. Families can be a foster family that is temporary, where they're taking care of that child until the child is able to return home. But foster care can also turn into adoption, where that family that is a foster family can grow their family by adopting that child in the home. But we also do some programs in other ways to build families. We have a program, an Impact Plus program, that works to keep the kid in their biological home and to prevent them from ever going out into out-of-home care. And then on the other side of that, we have a program to parenting classes that teaches biological parents parenting skills. And in a lot of cases, that may help them get their kids back.
Okay, so they come to you from, the people don't apply for this. How do you get the kids? How do the kids get in
Okay, how do the kids get to us? Well, we contract with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. And when a child is removed from their home because of abuse, neglect, dependency, then the Cabinet looks for foster homes, looks for a temporary home to put them in. So we recruit and train foster parents to take these kids and to care for them, to kind of help them until their family can meet their goals to get the kids back. Now, if you remember earlier, I said therapeutic foster care. And another question that I always get is, what does that mean? That is children that might have been in other placements before. They might have a severe diagnosis, or they might have an educational issue, or they might have behavioral type issues. So we train our foster parents to handle a multiple of issues that can happen with a kid not being with their family.
If somebody was interested in this,
Yes.
on one way or the other, or just wanted to know about it, what's your contact information? Where are you located? You can give a telephone number or maybe a website or something?
Sure. I can give you all those things. You mentioned our website,
Yeah.
and that's necco.org. And Necco is Necco.org.
Two C's.
Two C's.
And org.
And org.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You can find us on the internet, or also we are local in Paducah.
Mm-hmm.
We are over in Reedland, kind of the corner of 62 and 68. Our phone number is 270-898-1293.
1293. That's how I remember it. 1293. I've already called you 10 times since.
Yes, that's great.
And it's on the. I didn't know that was 68, but I knew that when I went past Reedland and I wanted to go to the interstate. That's the corner.
Yes.
You're right there on the corner, but you can't get right there. You got to go down toward the interstate a little bit and come back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do. On that corner, you do. You have to do exactly that. You have to turn onto Eagle Nest Drive. And then we're right around the curve.
Yeah, you're right up in the corner right there.
Mm-hmm.
A wonderful. That may have been somebody's house at one time, but it was really a big, nice brick house.
It is, and actually the people that built that, they owned a construction company, and they lived underneath and ran the construction company on the top. Because you might not know unless you drive around to the back that there's an entire bottom floor.
I'll be darned, and I know a construction person that lives out there, but I'm not going to mention his name.
This isn't his show.
No, it's not his show. Now, well, and the next question I have is, how did you get associated with this?
That is a funny story, I think.
Okay.
12 years ago. I've been at Necco for 12 years.
That's a long time.
Yes. 12 years ago, I was working at a local law firm. I was a paralegal. And I was working next to Necco. And I had just completed my master's in psychology and started researching what Necco was. And the more I learned about it, the more I wanted to work there. So one day I went next door and I dropped off my resume, and they didn't call me right away. And they didn't call me nearly right away. So I kept hounding and kept calling. And then I finally got a job there. I was a case manager. And after working in something in this type of field, you can imagine that it can be hard. And that's what foster parents say all the time, is that's the one barrier that keeps people from being foster parents, is just can't imagine working with kids that have been hurt. I can't imagine when seeing kids go back to the environment that they came from. And when you work within this population, that is hard. But then, like after a year, I realized that it is a job that I truly love. I mean, we are helping kids get reunited with their parents, because I don't know how many children that you have raised or not, but it takes more than love. And not everybody has those skills, because there's no parenting class. I mean, there's no book that somebody gives you of how to take care of a kid. So some parents need help. And so being able to reunite a kid with their biological family is a great thing, but also to put a kid in a home that can be adopted is a wonderful thing. My mother was adopted, so I realized the job that I was doing is kind of just the fact that my mother was adopted. It's just something that I enjoy to do.
And I really feel for you. I think it could be really hard because the feelings and the parents are. It's kind of scary that your kids may or may not be able to have the same relationship with your kids as you did before. But we're going to get into that a little later too. Yes. I know, but I know it's scary, and you got to be a certain person. I had people when I went to school with that were going to do this with special children, and I thought, boy, they have to be special people, because that's really stressful. Yes. For me to even think about it. I'm sure it's a lot harder than what we even might think.
Yes, but foster parents are special people. They come into it with a love in their heart. They want to help children. They go through training. They continue to do training throughout the year and throughout the time they're caring for kids. They are really special people. Okay,
you have a local office here.
Yes, yes we do.
But is this the only office, or you have office?
No, Necco has offices all across the state of Kentucky. They also have offices in Georgia and West Virginia and Ohio. Okay. So if anybody out there watching has relatives or friends or family in areas that I might have mentioned, then just call us in Paducah and we'll give you the number to the office in your area. Okay.
Well, I think we're ready for Kelley and Farrah Stewart.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Cloudless sky, summer days, feels just like it's somewhere. Kids are out, safe to play, and it feels just like a beautiful day. Cloudless sky, summer days, feels just like it's somewhere. Kids are out, safe to say that it feels just like a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Beautiful day. A beautiful day. Beautiful day. La da da. Feel the grass between my toes. I wanna hear the birds as they come and go. And I'd love to fly if I had wings, and I'd bring you with me. I wanna hit the beach, the ocean air, and we'll let the sand get everywhere. We'll watch the sun as it melts away, and I'll smile just the same with you. Cloudless sky, summer days, feels just like it's somewhere. Kids are out, safe to play, and it feels just like a beautiful day. Cloudless sky, summer days, feels just like it's somewhere. Kids are out, safe to say that it feels just like a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kelley and Farrah Stewart. And what do you do at Necco? Farrah, what's your title?
I am the home resource coordinator, which basically I go out and recruit foster parents, and I train them, and I do their yearly reapproval. I do ongoing trainings and ensure that everything is good in the home.
Okay, so you're the foster parents side.
Yes.
Okay, and then Kelley, what do you do?
I am the treatment director. I oversee the treatment needs of the kids that are in our care, ensure that they have, their needs met as far as educational, behavioral, mental health, and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, I just heard a rumor that Rhonda Riley, who was here just a minute ago, has slipped into the control room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Okay, what is the goal of Necco? Do you have a goal out there?
We do, and it recently changed because it used to be that, and it still is. We've changed to We Build Families, and we do. We build families by people who've never had children. Let's be a foster parent and be able to share your life and share that joy with kids. We build families by allowing, kids that are in your home that you have formed attachments with that come up for adoption, let's work through the adoption process. Let's support you through that. And even after adoption, let's, you know, be that support and that rock for you guys. It used to be that we would take the best care of the children that we serve and those that serve them, meaning our foster parents, our state workers, our mental health professionals. We still do that. But to add even a cherry on top of that, we build families.
Now, on this show, we've had a lot of people a lot of groups that deal with children who have problems, families who have problems.
Absolutely.
Do you ever use other groups in Paducah or McCracken County that help you with certain aspects of, like a child has this problem or this situation? We
do. We have the Purchase Area Sexual Assault Center. That there is one in Paducah. There's one in Murray. They do wonderful work with the kids in our program that have been abused in that way. We also work with Four Rivers Behavioral Health as well as Child Watch. We work with the CASA workers through the court systems. We work with the state workers, you know, medical professionals. I mean, there's plenty of support, schools, guidance counselors. So yes, we definitely work with a lot of different agencies in the community.
Well, that's one of the main reasons we started this TV show, is there were so many out there, and I was surprised every time I turned around it was a different one. And I think a lot of the people, and hopefully the ones watching this show today, that don't know of all those different groups that help out, and hopefully this in the coalition that we have.
Absolutely.
Quarterly, everybody can get together and know who's out there and use everybody and network and on and on.
Absolutely.
Now, you work with the foster parents.
Yes.
How do they apply if somebody wanted to do that? And is there a waiting list or?
There is no waiting list. There will never be too many foster parents. There will always be a need. As far as applying, you just need to contact our office. You can do that via email, phone. You can go to our website and do an online inquiry. There are multiple different ways.
Just show up out there, maybe?
You can, absolutely. And anyone in the office will be more than happy to introduce themselves and take your information. We like to set up an orientation, which is casual. It's just information, question and answer, just to kind of explain what Necco is, what services we provide, what the expectation of the foster parent would be, and the process of how one would become a foster parent. Because obviously there's training, there are background checks, paperwork, we check references. So it's a pretty extensive process to become a foster parent, but definitely well worth it.
Okay, so I'm interested. I get to, if I came down to see you and I say, okay, I want to be a foster parent, but this is what I really like. I don't think I could handle this situation, but here's my situation over here. Is that the way it usually works? If you have your own parameter, and so the foster parents can kind of not pick and choose, but they can, or can they?
Absolutely, yes. We take the approach of you have to take care of your family first and foremost, and they are going to know what works for their family. So we do not want to pressure them to accept any child in their home that they don't feel is a good fit. Now, we have some people that start out fostering, and let's just say that initially they only want children under 12. They don't feel like they're equipped to handle the older children. It's just not something that they have dealt with before, and oftentimes by the end of the training process they have decided that, hey, maybe I can take a 15 or 16-year-old. And oftentimes we have actually had situations where people start off wanting to foster much younger children, and they end up being the ones who are the most successful with the older children. So I always tell people, don't shortchange yourself. You know, come in with an open mind, know what works best for your family, but just keep an open mind.
Now, you said 12, 15-year-olds. What is the age limit or age range? Or
we place children 0 to 21.
A lot of 21s, maybe? Not many?
We don't see a whole lot of children up to 21. But we have had children who end up in foster care up until their 21st birthday. Our average age, like Miss Rhonda Riley said, is about 12. That doesn't mean that we don't get younger kids, and that doesn't mean that we don't get older kids. We also see a lot of sibling groups. So
that's a question too. They got 4 kids. The parent has 4 kids. Are they all in this, maybe, or just 1 or 2, maybe?
Usually, all of the children are removed from the home, and they are looking for a foster home who could potentially take the 4 children. We never want to separate children. If at all possible, we want to keep the children together. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, but anytime that we can, we have placed 4 children in one home before. So our goal is to always keep them together, if at all possible.
And in those instances where we have had to separate sibling groups because we didn't have homes that could meet all of the needs of all 4 children, we really work together with both foster homes that we put the children in, ensure that they have play dates, ensure that they go to the park. If they're in different counties, then they may not see each other at school, but so we work on the weekends or at night to set up that visitation to maintain that bond and attachment.
Oh, that's got to be hard if they're separated like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what kind of treatments and what kind of life situations or illnesses or what do you normally see, and why are they maybe taken away from their parents?
Right.
Not completely, but
the majority of the children that that come into our program are taken away for some type of abuse or neglect. It may be that medical neglect. They weren't taken to medical appointments that were deemed necessary by a physician. Educational neglect. They have truancy issues because they weren't sent to school. It could be that they've been physically or sexually abused. We also get children placed through the Department of Juvenile Justice. Those are children who actually have committed a crime. It could be assault, breaking and entering, but they're underage, and so they're still in in state's custody. We work with the families. We try to match the children up as best possible with the foster home. They may have issues stemming from the abuse that has occurred. A lot of the children that I work with, especially the females, have a lot of self-esteem issues. They have a lot of boundary issues. They have a lot of need for healthy relationships. They don't know what a healthy relationship is. And so it is for us to try to re-educate. We never like to look at a child as sick or needy. We want to look at them as a child who we can work to re-educate. Maybe they have grown up in an environment where this was the norm, but socially it's not the norm. And so we just try to help them so that they can be more productive adults and just add to their future.
Now, is it many times or sometimes or not very often the biological parents and the foster parents may have a good relationship where they really become friends, or is it, or maybe they resent the foster parents, or what's the normal way that works?
Well, you can imagine as a parent who has lost custody of their child that it would be difficult to see your child form relationships and attachments with other people. However, that's part of the training that I provide, which is to encourage our foster parents to build relationships and show the biological family that, we're not trying to keep your child. Our goal is to reunify the child with the biological family and support that in any way that they can. So we have had great success with foster families who have really embraced the biological family and have assisted them with doing what they needed to do to get their child back and remain in contact, which has allowed the foster family to remain in contact with the child or the children. It's a win-win situation for the child. Okay. It just alleviates a lot of the loyalty issues and the stress that can go on.
Now the foster parents, they get paid minimal amount of money to do this? Is that?
The foster parents are reimbursed for the care in which they provide for the children. It is to cover food, clothing, field trips, all of the things that we as parents have to pay for children. It is not a great deal of money, but it definitely helps cover those basic expenses that, you know, parents have to provide for children.
So I think we have time for maybe one or two stories. If you got any success stories, maybe you'd like to share one of you.
Go ahead, Kelley.
Well, and I was going to say, Farrah's got one in particular that she'll share with you in a minute. But, you know, there's so many blessings that come with this. It is a hard area to do. You know, being a foster parent, I commend. You know, you've got these children day in and day out. You're working to help them grow. You know, it's like, you know, you're gardening, you're flowering, you're taking care of these precious children who just need to be re-educated. But I've been with Necco for over 12 years, and in the course of that time, seen so many families who have adopted and who have gone on to, not only are they were my foster children, now they're my adoptive children, and now I have grandchildren, you know, from this process. And so we have families whose family members foster or adopt. We have families who, numerous moms and sons, and so we've seen a lot of children go through this process, and they stay in touch. They maybe return to their parent, and that's a support, and that's good for them. But they also utilize what they've learned and the attachments that they've formed while they were in the program. So there's a lot but in particular, there's one girl that I worked with that was adopted, but Farrah did the training with the foster father and started out that process. And so I, as a therapist, was working with her and saw her in one home, and it just was not a good fit. Then saw her in another home, and this home ended up being perfect for her, and she's adopted, and at, you know, 15, she found her forever home.
That's a great story. We got just enough time to maybe quickly say the phone number and,
sure.
and contact information one more time.
Absolutely. Our phone number is 270-898-1293, and the website is necco.org, necco.org.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thanks for having us.
And thank you for watching. I'm your host, Bud Qualk, and I'll see you next time on Community Service Spotlight.